Alright guys, welcome back here to the fourth match here with Jeskai Queller. We won the die roll, and yes, we would love to play first. Let's take a look at our opener here. It is pretty bad. One land. Yeah, we have interaction, but we don't even know if it's going to be good interaction, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan this hand. A couple more lands, still some interaction. Yeah, I guess that's a keep. Yeah, I'll bottom that. I mean, could be good enough in a slow matchup, but I kind of just want to draw lands, right? Wastes. Expedition map. Yep. Eldrazi-Tron. So this is not the easiest of matchups. I'm not going to go ahead and fetch here in hopes of hitting a land. And we did hit a land. I'm actually going to go ahead and play Flooded Strand so I can keep up Mana Leak if I need to, even though it's more likely that they're going to just Expedition map here. But if they go like Eldrazi Temple, Mind Stone, is that something we're interested in countering? I don't think so. Steam Vents, no. Hollowed Fountain, nope. Island was a great draw. It means we're on track to cast Cryptic Command. The only issue is sometimes these decks aggressively Expedition map for Cavern of Souls, which could make this whole thing a bit more difficult. But I guess we'll see what line our opponent opts to take here. Yeah, they may be going for the Cavern plan. So Cryptic Command is great, but not when our opponent has Cavern of Souls. Especially now that some lists are playing up to 2. Yep. Oh, yep. Rip. Interesting. Should I have countered the Mind Stone in that case? What's coming here? Is it a Thought-Knot Seer or is it a Reality Smasher? It's probably a Thought-Knot Seer, right? So yeah, we can't counter it. So we're gonna go ahead and let our opponent see our pretty stacked hand. Which would be great if they did not have a Cavern of Souls, right? So it's part of the game, though. I imagine they're going to take one of these Cryptic Commands. And then we have a decision to make, whether we want to fire off one of these Cryptic Commands to bounce the Thought-Knot Seer and draw a card. And I think we want to search for a way to actually deal with Thought-Knot Seer. We want a permanent answer. So basically that was just a cycle for kind of like 2, but I don't think Cryptic Command is going to be particularly good from this position. And now I feel pretty stupid because I definitely would have wanted to fire off that Mana Leak on the Mind Stone, knowing how this game progressed. With that said, we're definitely not out of it, and they don't have Ghost Quarter, so we could get aggressive. And Snapcaster Mage is not bad. It's not great either. So if we had double red mana, we would be able to electrolyze the Thought-Knot Seer. Alright, there's the Ghost Quarter. So they got everything. They got everything they need to beat us down here. Yep. We cannot deal with Thought-Knot Seer. We'll see what our opponent opts to take here. Maybe Cryptic Command. Maybe they don't like the tempo. But this Ghost Quarter is definitely annoying. Alright, there goes Snapcaster Mage. So I guess they realize the only way they can really lose from here is getting burnt out. So the question is, do we hold on Electrolyze to maybe draw another red source? And I think we do. And that's another red source for us, right? So I don't think there's any reason to do this right now. We'll definitely not take the 4. We're not taking the 4 damage here. Or maybe we are. We could take the 4 and like just try to dodge a Karn. However, if they go like Reality Smasher, then yeah, we're going. Yeah, okay. So I'm okay taking the 4 here, actually. We'll keep up Cryptic Command in case they want to go second main Karn, you know? If it's second main Matter Shaper or another Thought-Knot Seer, then we're going to get rid of this Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, so say cancel. Red, blue, blue. Yep. Red, white. So we dealt with one Thought-Knot Seer. There's a Spell Queller. Not good here. Not good. So so they took the Cryptic Command. All right, and we are under a fair amount of pressure here. All right, Path to Exile is fantastic. So now we can go ahead and keep up Spell Queller because it doesn't actually counter. It All right, here comes the Smasher. Reality Smasher. Okay, so I think Reality Smasher is actually scarier than Thought-Knot Seer. So I could force them to use Ghost Quarter right now. Yeah, I'll force the Ghost Quarter action here. We'll get a basic Plains from our deck. And we'll Path to Exile the Reality Smasher. So we'll say, okay, add a white. Get rid of Mana Leak. Right. Yes, we'll get a land here. What do we need? I guess another white source wouldn't be bad. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blue sources, which is pretty good. All right, here we take 4. All right, so they're on 5 mana, which is a pretty good spot. But all right, so Snapcaster Mage is a great draw. And I really don't think there's any scenario where we're not snapping, pathing on that Thought-Knot Seer here, but if they go like another Reality Smasher, maybe? Alright, so no Reality Smasher, which is a good sign for us. Alright, Snapcaster Mage, one of the best draws we could find here. I'm going to go ahead and target Path to Exile. So usually these lists only play 2 wastes, but they might be on 3. Guess we'll find out now. All right. Sweet. So they're only on 2 wastes, which is good for us. It also means this Spell Queller can nab a Thought-Knot Seer coming down here. So overall, keeping them off 6 mana on off of Endbringer is actually oof. Okay. Being put to the test here, right? They could have Dismember very easily. What happens if I don't Spell Queller this? I think I have to, right? Yeah, so Mana Leak is pretty bad here. Matter Shaper, sure. couldn't have done anything about that anyways. Colonnade is actually not a bad draw, not a bad draw at all. So the question is, do we attack with Snapcaster Mage here too? Because if we're not attacking, then we're blocking, right? Yeah, I'm okay with getting aggressive here, especially after drawing Colonnade. That's probably our only way to win. Alright, they go for the block, sure. Reality Smasher. Alright, looks like we're not racing very well. Man, that cavern doing a lot of work. There's an Urza's tower, so they have the 6 mana. So I guess we're definitely on the draw the path to exile plan. Because they're just not quite low enough for us to actually significantly pressure their life total. Yep, Reality Smasher is in. I'm gonna go ahead and well, I'm not gonna F6 here, because if they like dismember, Mana Leak is still alive for dismember, so. Cryptic Command, huh. Let's see, can we rev up and do everything? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No, we're gonna be 1 short. That's the target of a spell, right? Yeah. So I think here we'll just go ahead and attack with Spell Queller. We don't want to be, we're dead to Double Smasher. Now we've already fought through 1 Smasher, but I think this turn we're going to be forced to tap down their team and draw a card. I mean, we won't be forced to, but beginning of combat, this is where I'm going to go. Tap all creatures your opponents control, draw a card. Alright, that's a land. Not great here. All right, they're in combat, which they maybe don't realize. Or maybe they do realize. Oh, do you have an Endbringer or something? Yeah. So this cavern. Wow, yeah. God, that cavern is doing so much work here. Bolt doesn't quite do it, right? We're obviously gonna block something here if our opponent lets us, because yeah, target creature can attack or block this turn. So yeah, it's tough. I think we're in a pretty rough spot, no matter which way you cut it here. Interesting to see how they attack. What's worth more, this expedition map or Colonnade? Colonnade might actually be worth... No, whoa. They're already at 6 mana? What more could they do? Cancel. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and go to blockers. Block here. Say okay. They might have dismember here. I'm gonna go ahead and lightning bolt now, before they get their expedition map or anything like that. Okay. Wow, we just feel so bad here in this position. Like, Cavern of Souls makes this so difficult to deal with. Walking Ballista for 1. You got it, buddy. You got it. Alright. Okay. Game 2. Rejection. Blessed Alliance. Stony Silence. Condemn, maybe. Electrolyze is pretty horrible in this matchup. Mana Leak, I think even though they have caverns, we should still keep mana leaks in. I like Quellers. I like most of what we're doing here, right? Obstructionist might be a little narrow, but it's also a threat that can just clock our opponent in the air. Actually, Helix might be better than Bolt because of Chalice on one. So maybe we can cut a couple, maybe just cut all the lightning bolts, right? Keeping the Helixes. Is Electrolyze worth more than Helix? Maybe actually. It draws a card and deals damage. Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair setup. I don't think we want Negate. We don't want Geist here. We don't want Anger, even if it deals with Matter Reshaper. So Verdict would be a perfectly good card to bring here. Dusk Dawn if we were running that as well. But as it stands, I know the color restraints for this deck are pretty tight, but having like 1 or 2 Ghost Quarter here would be so very clutch. So the issue with losing game 1 is the fact that if we make it to game 3, we can't actually counter an Expedition map on the draw. Which is tough, because then they can just fetch up Cavern of Souls, and we feel so bad. But overall, I think we have what it takes to win this matchup. Let's just say that. I mean, cutting the burn, cutting what is that? It's 18 points of burn, maybe incorrect, but yeah, we would like to play first. This hand, out of all the hands, I mean, it's got Path, Snap, Path. It might be a greedy keep here. Helix basically feels like a mulligan, right? Doesn't even cycle. But I think any hand that has Path, Snap, Path is very hard to mulligan. Especially that if they have a turn, we'll be able to answer a turn 3 Thought Knot with our Spell Queller. So overall, I think we do have the hand that can win this matchup. But it is not the best possible hand. Alright, sorry about that, I had to pause the video, but we're back, and lead with Tarn, and pass the turn. So this matchup is, I would say blue-white control is much more favored against Eldrazi-Tron than Jeskai control, just because they have tech edges, they have ghost quarters, and they have spreading seas. Some of the best ways to deal with those troublesome cards. Basically, the land, that single land, Cavern of Souls, basically made our whole plan very. Yeah, I mean, you got Expo map. Yep, feels like they always have that card on one, right? Hollowed Fountain tapped. Flooded Shram. Yeah, let's play it. I don't think there's any scenario where we're Lightning Helixing this turn. Even if they go like Matter Reshaper, I don't think that's a card we want to fight over. Seagate Wreckage. Sure, so they're still going to at least be a little bit away from Tron, right? They didn't just have it all, so that's good. Okay, alright. Just in case we don't actually need to use Spell Queller this turn, I'm going to go ahead and run out this Flooded Strand. Instead of playing the Plains. Like, yeah, if we end up having to play Spell Queller, we take, I guess, an extra one that we may not have needed to take at this point in the game. But I think there's a higher chance that our opponent might not do anything next turn. They might, again, aggressively search for Cavern of Souls. Yep. So I'm actually going to save Spell Queller for Thought Knot Seer, even though we could get a Matter Reshaper here. I think. My opponent goes... Alright, so they go Expo map. It's so tempting. So tempting to just take it, right? I mean, if they have Dismember, they have Dismember, right? I think I'm gonna take it. I think slowing them down from this angle is worth it, as well as the ability to pressure our opponent's life total. That's a relic, sure. Yep, we can get rid of one of our lands here. I guess that really only affects Logic Knot. Alright, so they have Dismember anyways. Yep. So they get their Expedition map. It's not the end of the world. They did have to deal 4 damage to themselves, so burning our opponent out. Ooh, click. Yes. Whole bunch of yes right there. That is a great card in this spot. It's also going to be able to pressure their life total as well as disrupt, and we can see what our opponent is playing with here. We're going to target our opponent, even though we wouldn't mind cycling this Helix potentially if our opponent had like no cards in hand. Surgical Thought Knot Walking Ballista, Sanctum of Ugin. So we could take the Walking Ballista here because it will deal with our Vendilion Click, and we can path the Thought Knot Seer. And they have Surgical, which feels pretty. It's good against Snapcaster Mage, but I would say it's poor everywhere else. So, especially because they already have Relic as well. So yeah, I am happy taking the Walking Ballista. Leave them with Thought Knot, Surgical, Thought Knot, Surgical, and Sanctum, right? Those were the cards. See, Click doesn't actually reveal here, which is annoying. Is it Matter Reshaper? Right, they realize they need to play one more land here. Yeah, Urza's mine. Okay. Alright, so they'll have Tron. So, trigger on the stack. Path to Exile. They are probably going to take... I mean, there's an argument to take Lightning Helix here, just because they have both Relic and Surgical Extraction. Alright. Let's see what they opt to take here. Maybe even just Serum Visions, but that doesn't seem all that correct. Either way, there's something here that we don't get to keep. So we know they're going to be pretty threat light now, right? They played this. Oh, they didn't play Sanctum. They played Urza's Mine. So we know they're sitting on Sanctum, Surgical, and a redraw from Relic. Now they will have Tron online, but overall, we should be in an okay spot to beat them down with Click for a few turns. Interesting. So they take the Snapcaster Mage, even though they have Relic and Surgical. Which, sure, Snapcaster Mage is a very threatening card, but I wouldn't say it's very threatening on this board state. But it's not like all of our other cards are particularly good here either, so... maybe I should have actually hit... I exiled my own Path to Exile, so that they can't Surgical it, because that is one of our best ways to deal with our creatures. Anyways, we'll get a blue-red here. Cast Serum Visions. Bottom, top is fine. Smack in for 3 here. And if they want to go for Surgical now, I may counter it. Alright, no Surgical. Alright, our opponent is going to have Tron. Question is, how do they want to do this, right? Interesting. So they're cycling first. Okay. And they just naturally drew Tron. Alrighty, opponent. Let's just go ahead and throw Helix at our opponent's face right now. Free up some mana for down the road. We'll go ahead and attack. So Click is going to be a really good clock here. Play a Scalding Tarn and pass. Alright, looks like our opponent is going to fetch up some lands here. We know they're still sitting on Surgical, Sanctum, plus another tower, and one unknown. So now they have 2 unknowns. Sanctum. Alright, what do you got for me, opponent? 2, 3, 4, 5. Reality Smasher. Reality Smasher. We can't counter it. Can we race it, though? Yeah, I think we can, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and save the Cryptic Command, oddly enough. Let's go ahead and get another, probably red-white at this point. We have a lot of blue. Colonnade is lethal next turn, and they did not fetch up Ghost Quarter, thankfully. So depending on what my opponent does here, we know they have 1 dead card. They play a land this turn? Plays Urza's Tower, right. So we know they have Surgical and 2 unknowns. So they played Urza's Tower, right? So I don't think there's any card they could have here that could kill us. So I'm just going to go ahead and let him swing here. Matter Reshaper is fine, I believe, right? Yeah. They have Surgical. They can use it to get some info here, but there's no way we're not going for this. Yep. All right. So we got game 2 against Eldrazi-Tron, which is it's tough, but we can get there. Do we want to change anything up? Do we want to cut mana leaks? They're good if our opponent doesn't have Cavern. They're pretty bad anywhere else. And on the draw, it's going to be even more difficult to make use of mana leak. But that's only if they have, the turn 1, expedition map. Either way, I think this setup is fine. Click was really clutch there that game. It dealt, what, like 9 damage? Ceremonious is not, rejection is not quite what we want here with 1 land. This land is much better. We'll keep a lot of things on top, like that. Eldrazi Temple. That is really scary. It may mean I'm not even gonna Serum Visions on turn 1. I may just keep up Path to Exile for Thought Not Seer. Alright. Expo map. Yep, can't counter that, unfortunately. It does mean our opponent's gonna have a pretty decent start here. We'll get a Hollowed Fountain tapped. Another Path to Exile is pretty good. Gonna go ahead and fetch a Steam Vents here. Electrolyze, not good in this matchup. Another path, hard for me to say no. It's gonna feel really, really bad if our opponent goes Chalice on 1. That's all I'm gonna say. Just exile Flooded Strand. If our opponent wants to Surgical, like Serum Visions, I am okay with that. Alright, sure. There's a Ghost Quarter. Here comes a Thought Not Seer, which we'll say okay to. We don't actually need to Path to Exile right now. So they might take one of these Spell Quellers, I guess, because they see 2 paths, but I think taking one of the paths is probably correct. I mean, they don't know. Alright, so they take the Spell Queller. We're going to unfortunately ramp them into their 4th land, potentially 5th for a Reality Smasher. But regardless, we will deal with Thought Not Seer the best way we know how to, and that is Path to Exile. Scalding Tarn, sure. It's a card we can discard to path Reality Smasher. So the thing is, if they have a land, I'm actually gonna exile the Path to Exile here because I don't want them to Surgical. I know that seems weird, but they already have Relic. There's no way we're getting a Snapcaster Mage Path to Exile in there, and just reducing one of their potential draws is going to be really important. All right, so proactive Spell Queller. Are you guys on board with me here? Let's just get it in there. Start beating down. Alright, Snapcaster Mage, sure. I could force my opponent to pop the Relic. I don't really want to do that, though. And we may just beat our opponent with Ambush Viper deck here, so. But we'll see. Opponent has 2 cards in hand. They're getting their way to Tron. Cavern of Souls is in. I wonder if that's what they're scared about. Are they scared of Cryptic Command here? Do they have like a 6-mana threat like an Endbringer? 1, 2, 3, 4. Thought-Knot Seer is fine. Like I said, there's no reason to Path to Exile right now, just because we have 2. Right. So they take one of the Path to Exiles. Probably a good idea, considering they have Relic on board. So we may run out Snapcaster Mage here. I'm not sure yet. We'll see what we draw. Like I said, our opponent knows about Snapcaster Mage, and they have Relic. Sacred Foundry, not a great draw. Of course, we could force them to pop Relic by targeting... Yeah, I'm just going to run it out there. I know it seems silly, but I think applying pressure here is going to be really important, especially because it's not a relevant piece of disruption at this point because of the Relic. Logic Knot is not a great draw. It will stop Walking Ballista, but it won't stop much else. So we kind of just have to hope our opponent has nothing here. And they're going to want to crack the Relic to draw stuff, but that's only if they don't have anything, you know? So we're in a rough spot. Yeah, let's just get the Flooded Strand. Like I said, if they want a Surgical Path now, that's fine after we've been through 3 of them at this point. Alright. Walking Ballista. Do it. Do it. Three. 1, 2, 3. Walking Ballista. Target spell. They have 1 mana here. For good measure. You do X equals 3, I do X equals 3. Alright. So we got a lot of live draws here, a lot of live draws. Snapcaster Mage, I mean, it's a beater, right? Now we can't beat 2 Walking Ballistas, I think. That's a little too much for us. like they're cracking the relic now, most likely, which makes a lot of sense. Did I forget to play a land this turn? Yeah, I might have forgotten to play a land. I don't know if that's going to really come up, but it might just be good to save this land in case we draw like a Path to Exile. 1, 2. One, 2, 3, 4. Chalice on 2. Interesting. Yeah. We'll run out Snapcaster Mage here. Might be a bait, but interesting that they set it on 2 and not 1. By the looks of it, this could be a game that we can win. Alright, just draw all the dead cards now. Alright. What do you got, opponent? Do you have 2 creatures? Do you have all his dust? Can't cast 2 mana spells, and they're not conceding, so 5, Endbringer, sure. Can't do anything about that, but I'm not gonna attack for lethal here. Fact is, we just have lethal on board here, so I'm gonna save Cryptic Command for any shenanigans. Okay, and we got there. Beat up Eldrazi-Tron somehow with Ambush Vipers. All right, so that's the new tech, guys. That's how you beat Eldrazi-Tron. Just play a bunch of flash creatures with 2 power. All right, so thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the 5th and final round in this modern competitive league.